9 of the top 10 horror movies in the United States are from the hands of Chinese director James Wan. From The Conjuring TV series to the series, every step is a classic. Today, let's take a look at one of his masterpieces, Remember the Dead. Jamie and his wife got a mysterious express delivery. Upon opening it, they discovered a puppet. They thought it was a prank by a friend, so they didn't pay much attention to it. Then Jamie went out to buy dinner and left his wife Xiaoli alone at home. Xiaoli tidied up the closet, but the puppet turned its head by itself. Xiaoli always felt creepy with the puppet's weird posture and eyes, so she covered it with a sheet. Then something weird happened. The radio in the living room started to sound by itself. Xiaoli hurriedly go out to check the situation, but after a few seconds all the sounds disappeared and there was dead silence all around. At this point, the puppet in the room suddenly left. Xiaoli slowly approached Jamie. He returned home with dinner, but was scratched by the blood on the ground. He quickly called Xiaoli. Xiaoli's voice came from the room. Jamie heard the sound and went into the room and saw Xiaoli covered by a white sheet. He pulled the sheet away. Then the police arrived at the scene and listed Jamie as the first suspect. But because there was no evidence, they could only release Jamie temporarily. Jamie returned home in dismay, gazing at the strange puppet. Along with his wife's death, he suddenly recalled the nursery rhyme used to frighten children. Be careful of the gaze from Ma Li Xiao. He has no children but dolls. If you see him, don't scream or he'll rip your mouth open and rip out your tongue. Is it true that Xiaoli's death is related to the puppet? Jamie quickly looked for clues on the box containing the puppet, and finally saw a place name at the bottom, which was his hometown. So Jamie took the puppet back to the town where he used to live, but it was already desolate and dilapidated. Jamie returned to the nearby villa and was surprised to find a blonde woman who claimed to be his stepmother. Jamie's relationship with his father became strained after his mother's death, and then a young stepmother appeared. Feeling uncomfortable, Jamie went straight to the point. He asked his father about the rumors of Ma Li Xiao, and his father dismissed it as a ghost story to scare children. He refused to say more. Jamie left disappointed. Then he sought out Henry from the funeral home, hoping he could assist his wife with the funeral. Jamie and Henry simply took over and went to the hotel to rest. At night, he was sleeping in a daze and suddenly heard a slight calmness. He opened his eyes and Jamie got up quickly in fear, but the puppet returned to the chair. He looked around and found an old man's figure appeared by the window. He quickly turned on the light and everything returned to normal. The husband Jamie invited the famous undertaker Henry to deal with his wife's body. Henry was horrified when he saw Xiaoli's death, as if he knew what happened. The next day, Xiaoli's funeral was held as scheduled, but Henry's wife asked Jamie to recite the nursery rhyme about Mary Shaw. Henry hastily took his wife away, and behind Jamie, Mary Shaw's tombstone appeared. He realized that Mary Shaw was not a legend but a real person. Jamie immediately returned to the hotel and found her name Billy on the neck of the doll. He immediately took the doll to the cemetery and found Billy's tombstone. Jamie unearthed the empty grave, indicating that someone had dug it out and given it to himself and his wife. Jamie quickly buried Billy again and returned to the hotel. Unexpectedly, policeman Jim thought he was hiding criminal evidence and dug the doll out again. Jamie's explanation was ineffective, so he took the doll to find Henry. When Henry saw the puppet, he stepped back in fear. Jamie questioned Henry, who finally confessed the truth. Ma Li Xiao was a wealthy performer who gained popularity and constructed a lavish theater by the lake. He was performing with Billy in the theater when a naughty child questioned Ma Li Xiao's performance on the spot. Ma Li Xiao won back everyone's applause with his strength, but he viciously targeted the child. The next day, the child vanished. Ma Li Xiao was killed soon after. His mouth was pried open and his tongue was cut off. His death was extremely miserable. At that time, Henry's father, as per his pre-death wishes, served as the child's funeral director and buried him in the grave. 10 dolls were buried with him. Mary Shaw had a hidden desire to be turned into a doll after she died. Shortly after Mary Shaw's burial, frequent murders occurred in the town. The victims' deaths mirrored Mary Shaw's, and they were arranged together like dolls. From then on, Mary Shaw became a taboo in the town. To find out the truth, Jerry went to Mary Shaw's theater and found his diary there. He discovered that he had been studying puppet making and wanted to create a flawless puppet. Jamie also discovered the missing boy's name in an old newspaper, and it was the same as his own last name. Henry wanted to bury the doll again, but heard a noise from the basement. He went to check, but didn't notice the doll turning its head to look at him. As soon as Henry entered the basement, the door closed automatically, and a hand slowly stretched out from the darkness. Later, Jamie found his father and asked about the relationship between Ma Li Xiao and their family. Unable to hide it, his father had to tell the truth. This is the ultimate classic horror movie in the US. It haunts countless 90s kids. Creepy dolls and scary nursery rhymes are enough to make people's hair stand on end. Ma Li Xiao is a gift expert. During his performance, he was questioned by a little boy who then disappeared mysteriously. This boy was Jamie's great uncle. The family thought Ma Li Xiao murdered him, so they captured and tortured him. When he couldn't take it anymore and screamed, they seized the chance to cut off his tongue. The father knew that Ma Li Xiao's revenge would not stop, so he killed Jamie and his mother. They sent them out to try to get rid of the curse. Ma Li Xiao's ghost unexpectedly appeared at the door. Jim found Jamie and tried to arrest him, but Henry called suddenly and claimed he wanted to prove his innocence, so he rushed to the theater. Jamie and the police found a secret room in the theater filled with hundreds of dolls. On the chair next to it, a piece of red cloth happened to cover something. Jamie lifted the red cloth and it turned out to be the missing boy that year. He was indeed mutilated by Ma Li Xiao and made into a doll. Just when the two were surprised, the dolls turned their heads collectively in the same direction. The doll's gaze led me to a distant chair where a clown doll sat. Jamie tentatively called Mary Shaw's name, and the doll actually spoke. Jamie asked why did Mary Shaw kill his wife. She wanted to end Jamie's family line, and Xiao Li was pregnant with Jamie's child, so she was killed. After that, the real Mary Shaw finally appeared. Jim shot the puppet Mary Shaw with one shot. Mary Shaw wanted to attach to other puppets, but Jim shot them all in pieces. Jamie took the opportunity to throw out the oil lamp and burn all the puppets. They wanted to escape from the theater quickly, but Mary Shaw was chasing them. When the two of them walked across the suspension bridge, it suddenly collapsed. When Jim fell, a sound was heard. Jamie screamed and was caught by Mary Shaw. Jamie wanted to climb up the shelf, but was frightened by the sudden appearance of Ma Li Xiao and let go of his hand. Luckily, he fell into the lake and swam to the other side along the bottom. Then, he recalled another doll at Henry's house, so he rushed there to find it. Henry's wife told him the doll was taken by his father. Jamie felt strange. His father had been paralyzed for a long time. How did he take the doll? Jamie returned to the villa and found the doll there. Ma Li Xiao appeared suddenly. Jamie swiftly threw the doll into the fireplace. While the doll burned, Ma Li Xiao vanished. Jamie was relieved. He turned around and found his father sitting opposite him. He walked over, turned on the light and looked at his father. Jamie instantly realized that his father had died a long time ago. What he saw these days was just a puppet being manipulated by someone. And his stepmother was the most perfect puppet made by Mary Xiao, but it was too late. The stepmother appeared behind Jamie. He screamed in fear as Mary Xiao instantly cut off Jamie's tongue and turned all his family members into puppets. Mary Xiao got his revenge.